Welcome, the anointed ones. There comes a moment when your faith becomes so loud that even the people who were never meant to hear you suddenly stop, turn, and take notice. That moment, chosen one, is happening right now, and it's bigger than anything you've imagined. Because while you were busy holding yourself together with faith, duct tape, and holy determination, someone influential, someone whose name carries weight in rooms you've never stepped into, quietly started paying attention. And they weren't impressed by the highlight reel. They were captivated by the moments you thought nobody saw, the nights you battled fear but still rose in the morning, the days you moved forward when logic said, "Give up," the decisions you made with courage, even when fear was screaming louder than hope. Here's a fact for you. Human behavior researchers found that people are more drawn to individuals who remain calm and grounded during uncertainty than those who appear confident during easy seasons. Translation. The very moments you worried made you look unstable or confused were actually displaying a level of spiritual maturity that only the wise recognize. While some people around you were scrolling through your life like it was entertainment, someone influential was studying it like it was evidence of rare character, rare faith, rare endurance. They saw you choosing faith in moments where fear should have had the final word. They saw you walking through storms with a kind of strength that can't be faked. And just to keep it real, they probably also saw those times you were fighting spiritual warfare, looking like you were starring in your own dramatic movie scene. But instead of judging you, they admired the fact that you kept showing up anyway. You didn't know it, but every decision you made in faith was echoing into rooms you haven't entered yet. Your patience created impact. Your obedience produced momentum. Your trust in God lit up a path someone powerful happened to notice at the exact moment they were searching for someone like you. Someone who doesn't crumble under pressure. Someone who doesn't negotiate with fear. Someone built from the kind of spiritual fiber that can withstand destiny-level assignments. Now something unexpected is unfolding. Your faith didn't just move mountains, it moved eyes toward you. Someone with influence, resources, and reach has identified you as the kind of person whose story deserves reward, not because you begged for attention, but because your journey carries undeniable proof that divine favor sits on your life. God saw you first, but now someone important sees you too, and they want to honor what your faith has built. Your life is about to experience a shift that fear never prepared for, but faith always knew was coming. Number 1. Your faith became a signal. Only people with spiritual authority can detect. Faith may look quiet on the outside, but spiritually, it's one of the loudest frequencies a human soul can produce. And without knowing it, you've been radiating a signal that the average person is simply not built to interpret. Most people only pick up noise, gossip, drama, opinions, ego. But people with real spiritual authority, they pick up signals, they sense alignment, they discern purity. And what you've been carrying has been echoing far beyond your daily life. Someone influential didn't stumble across you by accident. They felt something steady, something unshakable, something rare. They were drawn to a quiet power in you that others ignored because it didn't fit their limited definition of strength. While people around you were distracted by how calm you looked, this person was paying attention to the spiritual weight behind that calm. They recognized the frequency of someone who has been tested, stretched, broken down, rebuilt, and still refuses to bend to fear. They didn't see perfection. They saw consistency. They saw how you kept choosing trust over panic, purpose over pettiness, clarity over chaos. That doesn't come from personality, that comes from spiritual depth. And people in high places can sense depth the way skilled musicians can hear a single off-key note in a crowded room. Your faith created movement without you having to speak or perform. It put you in alignment with people who can see beyond surface behavior and feel the heartbeat of someone who carries destiny. That signal you've been sending out is the reason someone with influence feels drawn to you, not out of curiosity, but out of respect. They don't just want to reward you. They want to be connected to what you carry, because they know that the kind of faith you walk in is the same kind of faith that builds legacies, opens doors, and shifts entire environments. You didn't realize it, but while your enemies were trying to dim your light, your faith was broadcasting your identity to the right eyes. The real ones heard you, the real ones saw you, and now someone with power wants to honor what they've recognized in you. Number 2, you passed a test. You didn't know you were taking, and someone powerful saw your score. Life has a way of testing people without any warning, and most of the time, we don't even realize the scale of the challenge until it's already happening. Every difficult decision you made, every moment you chose faith over fear, was part of a test you didn't sign up for, a test no one told you about. The world might have looked like chaos, betrayal, or disappointment, but behind the scenes, it was revealing who you truly are. While others were focused on what they could take from you, someone powerful was quietly observing what you would give of yourself to stay faithful, to remain true, and to keep moving even when the weight was almost unbearable. Your endurance, your ability to remain calm under pressure, and your refusal to compromise your values didn't go unnoticed. Someone influential saw the way you responded to situations that could have crushed you, and they realized you weren't just surviving, you were proving your spiritual maturity. They saw the small, almost invisible victories, the moments you resisted bitterness, the times you chose patience over resentment, the way you walked forward when the easier option would have been to quit. These weren't just trials. They were your scoreboard, and someone with real insight recognized the high score you were achieving without applause, without recognition, without validation. That person isn't interested in your story because it's dramatic. They are drawn to the proof of consistency, the evidence of integrity. They noticed that in every difficult moment, you didn't just respond, you responded in a way that confirmed your character and your faith. That's rare, and it's magnetic to those who know how to value it. The test wasn't just for you. It was for the world to witness your readiness. Someone powerful saw that readiness before anyone else did. They saw a person who could handle responsibility, someone whose faith could not be shaken by fear, someone who is built for more than ordinary reward. Your choices, made quietly and faithfully, were recorded in the unseen realm, and now someone influential is ready to act on what they saw, honoring the resilience, faith, and strength you've been demonstrating all along. Number 3, your resilience exposed who was spiritually blind and who was spiritually elite. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about how you endure it and what that endurance reveals, not only about yourself, but about everyone around you. In the seasons when life tested you, your strength became a mirror reflecting the true nature of those in your orbit. People who claimed to support you suddenly revealed their intentions, while those who stayed quietly consistent, loyal, and honorable showed the depth of their character. Your resilience didn't just carry you through. It exposed the spiritual blindness of some and the rare clarity of others. Someone influential noticed this. They saw not only your ability to remain upright when everything was trying to knock you down, but also the way your endurance highlighted the contrast between empty words and genuine faith. They recognized that the chaos, betrayal, and opposition you faced weren't shaping you into someone ordinary. They were shaping you into someone extraordinary, someone whose character has been refined by fire and pressure in ways most people will never experience. They could tell who was reacting from ego, fear, or insecurity, and who was aligned with something far deeper and more permanent. Your resilience became undeniable proof of your spiritual depth. It's one thing to survive storms, it's another to emerge from them with wisdom intact, with humility still in place, and with faith strengthened rather than shaken. Someone powerful recognized this distinction immediately. They don't admire noise or dramatics, they respect substance. They noticed that your endurance had revealed patterns and truths that most people overlook, patterns that distinguish mediocrity from greatness, temporary from eternal, fear-driven choices from faith-driven ones. Your ability to navigate hardship without losing yourself, your clarity in chaotic situations, and your unwavering faith made you stand out as someone rare. The world may have been distracted by the storms you endured, but someone influential saw the light you carried through them. They realized that your resilience isn't just a survival mechanism, it's a signal that you're spiritually elite, prepared for opportunities and responsibilities that others will never be ready for. Your strength has become a beacon, and they are drawn to it because it marks you as someone truly chosen. Number 4. Your faith created a ripple effect that reached someone you didn't even know was watching. Faith doesn't just transform your inner world, it quietly alters everything connected to you. Every time you chose faith over fear, even when you were tired, confused, or stretched thin, you were releasing a kind of spiritual energy that doesn't stay contained. It travels, it moves, it impacts. And while you were focused on simply surviving each day, that energy was traveling farther than you ever realized. Someone influential, someone with reach, resources, and insight felt that shift long before they ever saw your face or heard your name. What you carried impacted them in a way they couldn't ignore. They sensed something strong, something steady, something anchored in truth rather than ego or fear. They felt a pull toward your life without fully understanding why. They noticed how your decisions created movement, how your strength stirred something in the atmosphere, how your faith produced results that were too consistent to be accidental. The interesting part is that you didn't do anything dramatic. You didn't perform for an audience. You didn't push for validation, and you didn't try to prove yourself. Your faith did the speaking for you, and that authenticity is what reached someone who knows how to identify real spiritual power. They may not know your full story yet, but they know enough to recognize a survivor when they see one. They know the difference between someone who pretends to be strong and someone who became strong because life forced them to. This influential person has seen plenty of people crumble, compromise, or turn bitter under pressure. But you didn't. You held your ground. You kept your heart intact. You stayed connected to purpose even when fear tried to shake you loose. That resilience created a ripple effect that touched someone who understands the value of a soul that can't be broken by circumstances. Now they're drawn to you because your faith didn't just lift you up. It lifted the atmosphere around you. It marked you as someone the world tried to break, but couldn't. And that kind of spirit is unforgettable to anyone with true discernment. Number 5. Your obedience in private activated a public blessing. You haven't seen yet. There's a kind of obedience that doesn't get applause, likes, or recognition. It happens in silence, in lonely seasons, in quiet decisions, where nobody but God knows what you chose. That's the kind of obedience you walked in. You stayed disciplined when it was easier to drift. You stayed faithful when it was tempting to check out. You stayed honest when shortcuts were right there, waiting for you to grab them. That kind of integrity is rare, and someone influential has taken notice of it in a way you never expected. You didn't just obey in the big moments, you obeyed in the everyday ones, the choices that shape character, the decisions that build foundation, the sacrifices that strengthen spirit. Those choices didn't make noise, but they created momentum behind the scenes. They positioned you for a blessing that requires substance, not just desire. Most people want promotion but aren't willing to be shaped for the level they are praying for. You did the work. You allowed God to refine you without fighting the process. Someone in a position of power admires that. Not the pain you went through, but the way you held your values in the middle of it. They recognize how difficult it is to navigate pressure without breaking your principles. They see that what you carry wasn't handed to you cheaply. It was formed in private moments of surrender, discipline, and self-control. This person understands what real preparation looks like. They know the difference between someone who wants attention and someone who is ready for responsibility. And your private obedience showed them that you're the latter. They're impressed not because you've survived struggle, but because you maintained your integrity while walking through it. That's a sign of someone trustworthy, someone grounded, someone prepared. Your obedience created a spiritual and emotional stability that makes you stand out. It activated doors you don't see yet, opportunities forming in places your name has already reached. Public blessing is on its way because your private decisions built the kind of foundation that can sustain it. Someone influential feels a genuine obligation to honor what they can clearly see God has molded in you. You didn't just grow, you grew right, and that is what's bringing reward to your doorstep. Number 6. Someone powerful realized. You're the kind of person who doesn't fold under pressure. You transform. Pressure exposes people. It reveals who's built on fear and who's built on faith. Most individuals crumble when life applies weight. They panic, they freeze, they retreat. But you're wired differently. When pressure shows up, you don't shrink. You shift. You evolve. You rise into a stronger version of yourself because you've learned how to let challenges sharpen you instead of break you. Someone powerful noticed that about you, and it changed the way they see you completely. This person observed how you carried yourself through moments that could have shattered your confidence. They paid attention to the way you navigated setbacks without spiraling, how you maintained your dignity even when disappointment hit harder than expected, and how you adjusted your approach instead of abandoning your path. They saw growth, not collapse. They saw transformation, not meltdown. And to someone in a position of influence, that's more than admirable. It's rare. You weren't just surviving the pressure, you were using it as fuel. You let it push you into deeper levels of wisdom, clarity, and spiritual strength. You allowed it to develop your patience, sharpen your instincts, and refine your character. Most people resist the fire. You learned from it. You walked through adversity and came out more focused, more grounded, and more aligned with who you were meant to become. This influential person recognizes that kind of resilience because they've met enough people to know the difference between temporary confidence and true inner strength. They know that someone who transforms under pressure can handle opportunities that others would easily fumble. They see you as an investment, not because of your survival story, but because of your transformation story. There's a maturity in the way you respond to challenges, a steadiness in the way you adjust your mindset, and a courage in the way you continue to rise that impresses even the strongest leaders. You didn't fold, you didn't run, you didn't break, you advanced, you evolved, and someone powerful sees that evolution as proof that you're ready for bigger responsibility, greater visibility, and rewards that match the strength you've built. Number 7. Your faith revealed that you have a calling that cannot be counterfeited. There's a big difference between people who talk like they're called and people who actually are. Talk can be rehearsed, attitude can be copied, style can be imitated, but the one thing that can never be faked is the spiritual signature a person carries when they're walking in real faith. Your life has that signature. It's the kind of authenticity that stands out without trying, and someone with true discernment recognized it the moment you came across their radar. This person didn't see a trend or an image, they saw depth. They saw the kind of faith that is formed through real battles, not borrowed language. They noticed that your strength wasn't shaped by ego but by endurance. They recognized that your confidence wasn't inflated but earned through seasons where you had nothing to rely on except God and your own resilience. That mark, your spiritual fingerprint, is something people who haven't lived your truth simply cannot replicate. In a world where many pretend to have power they don't possess, your authenticity breaks through the noise. You don't just talk faith, you carry it. You don't just quote scripture or speak positivity, you embody the transformation behind it. Your life has evidence attached to it, evidence of survival, evidence of guidance, evidence of being shaped by something higher than ambition or strategy. And that evidence is what caught the attention of someone influential. This person understands calling. They know what real purpose looks like because they've seen plenty of counterfeits. They can tell when someone is performing spirituality versus when someone is genuinely chosen. When they looked at you, they didn't see luck, hype, or coincidence. They saw divine placement. They saw a journey marked by God's hand, not human approval. That's why they want to reward you, not because you fit a mold, but because you broke one. Number 8. You pulled yourself out of places most people never recover from, and someone took note. Some people go through challenges that leave permanent scars, but you went through experiences that should have completely taken you out, and yet you rose. Not because it was easy, and not because you had endless support, but because something inside you refused to let darkness have the final say. That kind of survival isn't ordinary. It's not something people can fake. It's the type of strength that becomes living proof that God's hand was on you the entire time. Your journey carries a weight that can't be explained by simple luck or coincidence. It carries evidence, real, undeniable evidence of spiritual endurance. You didn't just walk through tough seasons, you walked through seasons that break people permanently. You navigated heartbreak that could have shut your spirit down. You endured betrayals that should have shattered your trust forever. You survived moments that had the potential to pull you into bitterness, hopelessness, or self-doubt. But you didn't stay in those places. You clawed your way out with faith, determination, and a stubborn refusal to surrender. Someone influential recognized that. They didn't see a victim or a survivor, they saw a miracle in motion. They saw that your strength wasn't built in comfort, but in crisis. They realized you've been carrying a level of resilience that can't be taught in books or learned in classrooms. Your track record isn't visible on paper, but it's loud in your spirit. It's clear in your presence. It's written all over the way you show up, the way you speak, and the way you move. This person admired the fact that you didn't allow your hardships to harden you. Instead of becoming numb or detached, you became deeper, wiser, and more compassionate. Instead of letting pain define you, you let it refine you. That transformation is powerful to witness, and it's part of what draws them to you. They see someone who shouldn't have made it, but did. Someone who shouldn't be standing, but is. Someone who shouldn't be this strong, but is stronger than ever. They know they're standing in front of someone rare, someone protected, someone chosen, and they can't help being drawn to the undeniable evidence of divine preservation that your life carries. Number 9. Your faith forced every hidden enemy into the light, and someone powerful finally noticed the pattern. What you thought was random chaos was divine choreography. Every conflict, every smear, every betrayal had a timing to it, a spiritual timestamp that kept exposing people one by one. You weren't watching your life fall apart. You were watching masks fall off in perfect order. What made this exposure so different is that you weren't fighting back. You weren't clapping back. You weren't defending yourself like the average person would. Your stillness created a vacuum their own darkness couldn't resist filling. And the moment they stepped into that vacuum, their intentions became obvious, not to the world at first, but to someone who matters. There is an individual, maybe a leader, maybe someone in authority, maybe someone with influence and resources, who has been silently observing you. They weren't impressed by the noise, they were impressed by the patterns. To this person, it didn't look lucky, it didn't look coincidental, it didn't look random, it looked protected, it looked sealed, it looked spiritually reinforced. This is why they're paying attention now, not because of the drama, but because of your anointing's reaction to the drama. People in high places recognize divine favor instantly, because it's the one thing they can't buy, can't orchestrate, and can't counterfeit. They know influence, they know connections, they know power plays, but they also know when something beyond human manipulation is at work. Your life became a case study, your endurance became a testimony, your peace became evidence, your faith became a spotlight, revealing enemies who thought they were invisible. And the person who noticed, they're not watching you out of curiosity. They're watching you because divine patterns always precede divine elevation. You didn't just survive sabotage, you exposed every saboteur without saying a word, and someone with authority finally understands what that means. You are chosen, and touching you is dangerous, spiritually and politically. Number 10. Your fearlessness. Wasn't loud, it was surgical, and someone in authority recognizes that level of precision and discipline. Most people confuse fearlessness with noise, with throwing punches, shouting, reacting, or performing strength. But your strength never needed theatrics. Your power operated on a different frequency. When the pressure mounted and the walls closed in, you didn't flinch or spiral the way your enemies hoped. You made moves that looked silent on the outside but were strategic, spiritual, and deeply informed on the inside. Your enemies were loud because they were unprepared. You were quiet because you were calculating. You weren't frozen. You were reading the room, reading the energy, reading the intentions behind the chaos. You responded like someone who wasn't walking by sight at all. You were walking by codes, instincts, revelations, and prophetic inner guidance that most people don't even know how to interpret. You didn't decide based on emotion. You decided based on alignment. You didn't react out of insecurity. You acted from spiritual clarity. You didn't avoid confrontation out of fear. You bypassed it because you saw the trap 3 moves ahead. And that caught the attention of someone who actually understands power. This person in authority, maybe a leader, maybe a protector, maybe someone with influence and specialized insight, noticed something that regular people never could. Your composure wasn't accidental. It was engineered. It was the type of discipline only forged through. They watched the way you handled storms that should have emotionally shredded you. They saw you remain precise, calculating and spiritually intelligent when the average person would have spiraled into panic, retaliation, or self-sabotage. That's when they realized, this is not a follower. This is a leader in disguise. Even in your lowest moment, your decisions carried the quality of someone operating far above their environment. What looked like struggle to others looked like leadership potential to the person who sees beyond the surface. They recognized your discipline. They recognized your restraint. They recognized your spiritual intelligence. They recognized that your silence was never fear. It was strategy. And in powerful spaces, strategy speaks louder than confidence, louder than charisma, louder than reputation. It's the language of people who have survived too much, learned too much, and evolved too far to ever panic again. You weren't just fearless, you were calculated, chosen, and spiritually trained for leadership. And someone with authority now knows it. Number 11. someone influential. Realized you don't seek validation. You seek purpose. Most people live for reactions. They measure success by applause, likes, attention, or recognition. But not you. You've always operated differently. Your focus has been on what matters, not on what's celebrated. You chose assignments over approval, growth over gossip, and true elevation over shallow ego boosts. Even when no one noticed, even when no one cheered, you kept moving. That consistency, that self-directed determination, didn't go unnoticed. It caught the attention of someone powerful who can see beyond the surface. This person recognized that your life isn't driven by desire to be liked or admired. Your motivation comes from purpose, from alignment, from the internal compass that keeps you steady no matter how loud the noise around you gets. You've been quietly doing the work, building yourself, healing yourself, strengthening yourself, and leveling up spiritually and mentally without needing external validation. That kind of discipline is rare, and people in positions of real influence notice it immediately, because they know it's the hallmark of someone who can handle responsibility, impact, and legacy. Your journey demonstrates that real power isn't about being seen. It's about showing up consistently, aligning with God, and putting your energy where it actually matters. You've proven that your actions are not for applause but for results. Results that last, results that matter, results that impact others in ways invisible to the crowd. Someone influential recognized that you are not swayed by temporary opinions or fleeting admiration. You are guided by principle, focus, and purpose, and that is the kind of person they want to align with. Your ability to ignore distractions, stay true to your path, and prioritize purpose over popularity signals maturity beyond your years. It shows that you are ready for assignments far greater than what most people are prepared to handle. Your faith, integrity, and unwavering dedication to your calling are impossible to overlook. Someone powerful has taken note, not just because you succeeded, but because of how you succeeded. On your own terms, with quiet strength and unshakable alignment with what you were meant to accomplish. You are not seeking validation. You are seeking destiny, and destiny always gets noticed. Number 12. Your faith became a mirror that exposed everyone else's intentions, and someone in high places paid attention. Faith doesn't just shift your path, it exposes the truth hiding in plain sight. When you chose faith over fear, over rage, over bitterness, it didn't just transform you, it revealed the condition of everyone connected to you. Your choices became a quiet spotlight that showed who genuinely cared, who was pretending, and who was quietly waiting for you to fall apart. The way you moved in those moments, the grace you showed, the self-control you maintained, became a living testimony that someone influential couldn't ignore. Your faith created separation without you having to lift a finger. It drew honest hearts closer and pushed dishonest ones into the open. It showed who celebrated your progress and who flinched at it. It showed who applauded your breakthroughs and who wished your losses were permanent. People don't realize how revealing spiritual strength can be. When you operate with clarity, people's true intentions can't hide for long. And you noticed it, but you didn't respond with spite, pettiness, or the need to set the record straight. You held your dignity like it was currency. That struck a chord with someone watching, someone in a high place, someone with influence, resources, or authority, saw how you handled betrayal, envy, and hidden agendas without losing your identity. They noticed your emotional discipline. They noticed how you carried yourself when people tried to twist narratives or create chaos around you. That level of internal stability is not common in a world where many collapse under pressure or lash out impulsively. The way you held your peace told them everything they needed to know about your character. Your faith didn't just expose others, it validated you. It proved you weren't moved by noise. It proved you weren't driven by ego. It proved you had the maturity to handle blessings, opportunities, and favor without sabotaging yourself in the process. The influential person watching you recognized that. They saw someone who could rise without becoming arrogant and endure without becoming bitter. Your faith revealed the truth, and your response to that truth revealed your strength. That's why someone powerful decided you're worthy of reward. Your character became your confirmation. Number 13, you walked through darkness without becoming it. And someone who values integrity saw the difference. There's a rare kind of strength that doesn't show up in muscles, volume, or bravado. It shows up quietly, in the choices you make when no one is applauding, and in the values you protect even when life tries to bury them. You carried that kind of strength. You walked through seasons that could have left you numb, angry, spiteful, or permanently guarded. But you didn't let the darkness swallow who you really are. You endured it without becoming a reflection of it. That alone put you in a category most people never ascend to. Someone influential saw that, not in a dramatic spotlight moment, but in the subtle ways your character held its shape under pressure. They witnessed the strength it took to stay kind when cruelty tried to harden you. They noticed how you stayed honest when lies were used as weapons against you. They recognized how you kept your heart soft even when life gave you every reason to turn stone cold. That level of integrity is so rare that when powerful people see it, they don't take it lightly. Most people break in the dark. They compromise themselves trying to survive. They lose their compassion, their patience, their joy, their authenticity. But you managed to walk through painful seasons with your values intact. You didn't trade dignity for revenge. You didn't sacrifice your soul to match the energy of those who tried to dim your light. You kept your center steady, and that's exactly what makes you different. It signals that you can be trusted with more responsibility, more opportunity, more elevation, without losing your identity. Someone with influence saw that you didn't just survive darkness, you outgrew it. You walked through fire without letting it turn you cynical. You maintained a level of self-respect that proves your spirit can't be bought, manipulated, or corrupted by circumstance. That's the kind of integrity that powerful people value deeply because they know how rare it is. You didn't become the darkness you faced. You remained the light that outlasted it. And that's why someone important is ready to reward you, because you've already shown them exactly who you are when the world goes dim. Number 14, you've been operating on faith so long that someone influential realized you're ready for responsibility, not just blessings. Many people ask for blessings without understanding what it takes to carry them. They pray for abundance but aren't equipped to handle it. They want doors opened but aren't prepared to walk through them with wisdom and integrity. You're different. You've been operating on faith for so long that endurance has become second nature. Every trial, every pressure, every season of waiting has trained you for more than temporary rewards. It's trained you for responsibility, leadership, and purpose that matches your calling. Your life has been a continuous classroom. You've learned stewardship, managing what God has entrusted to you even before it's fully manifested. You've learned discipline, staying consistent when shortcuts and easy options were available. You've learned humility, staying teachable, flexible, and grounded even when people doubted or opposed you. And you've gained clarity, a spiritual vision that keeps you moving in alignment with your destiny rather than chasing temporary gain. That combination is rare, and someone influential has noticed it. They aren't impressed merely by your survival. Endurance is commendable, but readiness is transformational. They see that you're not only able to handle what comes your way, but that you're ready to lead, to guide and to expand the influence that comes with God's favor. They see reliability, a person whose decisions won't crumble under pressure, whose integrity won't waver under temptation, and whose faith isn't dependent on applause or acknowledgement. They see someone prepared for impact, someone whose blessings are designed to multiply purpose, not inflate pride. This person understands the difference between someone who wants blessings and someone who is equipped to steward them. And when they look at you, they don't just see endurance, they see destiny in motion. They recognize that your preparation season has readied you for opportunities that require wisdom, courage, and moral clarity, qualities that most people only hope to develop in a lifetime. Your faith hasn't just kept you standing. It's proven that you're ready to step into God's next chapter with responsibility, vision, and authority. Someone powerful sees that, and they're ready to support the next level God has prepared for you. Conclusion: your faith, your journey, and the recognition you deserve. Every moment you've walked in faith, every decision you made to rise above fear, every trial you endured without compromise has not gone unnoticed. You've lived through storms that would have broken most people, yet you emerged refined, disciplined, and unshakable. Your obedience, your resilience, your ability to transform pressure into growth, and your unwavering integrity have created ripples far beyond what you can see. Those ripples have reached eyes of influence, eyes that recognize not just survival, but divine alignment, character, and readiness for destiny. Your journey has proven something undeniable, that real faith isn't just about believing, it's about acting, enduring, and rising even when the world doubts, lies, or conspires against you. The people around you may have underestimated your strength, tried to sabotage your progress, or failed to recognize your purpose. But someone powerful, someone who understands divine patterns, has seen you clearly. They see the rare combination of courage, wisdom, discipline, and moral clarity that most people spend a lifetime trying to acquire. They see not just who you are, but who you are becoming, and they know that what God has prepared for you requires someone who can handle it with the maturity, faith, and spiritual intelligence that you have consistently demonstrated. Your faith has become more than a personal strength. It's a signal, a testimony, and a mirror that reflects not just your destiny, but the truth of the world around you. It has drawn attention from the right people at the right time, and it has positioned you for opportunities, rewards, and recognition that match the depth of what you've carried. You didn't have to chase it, beg for it, or force it. You simply stayed true, stayed faithful, and let your life reveal the excellence that only discipline, obedience, and unwavering purpose can produce. Now it's time for you to step fully into what's coming. The recognition, the support, the elevation, they're not just rewards, they are confirmations of a journey guided by divine alignment and spiritual precision. God has been orchestrating this, and someone influential is ready to honor it. Your faith has paved the way, your endurance has cleared the path, and your integrity has set the standard. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more powerful revelations. Like this video to show your support. Comment below with your thoughts or testimonies, and share it with others who need to hear this truth today. The world needs more people to see the power of faith in action, and your engagement helps spread this energy even further. Your journey matters, your faith matters, and your purpose is being recognized, even by those you never expected. Step into it boldly, because your time has arrived. God bless you.